where I was so self-conscious, where I was like, oh my God, like, oh my God, I really want to have sex. Like I would be like thinking about it up until the point where we're together and it's time to happen. And I literally, like, I'm mentally up here and ready, but she is like flatline. And I'm like, dude, I'm like 29 years old. Like, what the fuck? I'm too young for this. Like, this is not supposed to be happening until I'm like 50. What's going on? What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Candace. I'm here with Confidential Talk. Good morning. Okay, it is early as fuck, and I'm still up. It's okay. I wanted to talk to you guys about something I've observed recently about my body, and actually I talked about it in one of my videos. I have a video on the YouTube channel about having a low libido, which is, oh crap, I always mispronounce this word, low libido, and that is pretty much desire for sex. So having a low sex drive. And I have a video about reasons why you may be experiencing a low sex drive. And one of the reasons that you could be experiencing a low sex drive was birth control, right? So I've actually been taking birth control for a long time. And I actually started in my earlier years, in my well, not, I wouldn't even say like super early. I think I was probably like 18 or 19 when I started birth control. And it was mainly because I had extremely bad cramps. I was not even getting it in like that, y'all. It wasn't for that reason. It was really because I had really bad cramps. So, I was taking birth control, and I've always kind of taken birth control, but I've always had a really high sex drive up until probably like within the last year. Now, before I continue this story, just to give you a heads up, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Hello, I'm Candace. But we are very open over here in Confidential Talk. There's absolutely no judgment. I'm definitely open about my life because I know a lot of times, a lot of us experience a lot of the same things. And, not all of us want to talk about it, but I'm okay with it. So here I am. So, welcome to my channel. If you are new, check out some of my other videos. I'll talk about sex, love, relationships, and all things vaginal health. So yeah, and make sure you check out my website, confidentialtalk.com. I sell sex toys. Starting off with my personal recommendations, just to give you a heads up. So nothing too crazy on there, but I have some really good options. So check it out. But anyways, so yeah, I am very open. So I'm about to get really personal with you guys. So, don't be in the comments coming for me. Okay, I'm trying to relate here. I'm trying to be open. Anyways, so yeah, so I decided to switch job careers, okay? And it was a very hard decision for me because I am somebody that is huge on security. I need the check. I need to know when the check is coming. And that's just the end of the story. You know what I'm saying? The beginning to the end. I need to know when the check is coming. So for me to, go from a lifestyle where I'm used to, a consistent check, I'm used to having a job, I decided to quit my job and do DoorDash and Uber Eats. It's 2022 right now. So this happened last year. I decided to quit my job May of 2021. So we're still dealing with the pandemic and all the stress of the pandemic and all the depression, all that stuff like that, right? So I'm dealing with that, and then I'm dealing with becoming a little bit older and having all this responsibility, not being where I want to be in my life, blah 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 blah, just all the problems that I know y'all probably listen to this video right now like, oh my God, I can totally relate. Yes, that was me. So I have all this stress going on, so I decided to quit my job. And now, like, the biggest thing I am always worried about is that security, that check is not coming in. So now I got that on my plate. So my sex drive was like, it got so bad. And I'm on birth control, by the way. I've been on birth control for a long time. So sometimes I take breaks too. Sometimes I go periods of months, up to a year or so, where I don't take birth control. But I was on. Okay. And I don't think that I really, even when I did the video, and I don't even think I put two and two together when I did the video, because I'm pretty sure I did the video during the time, and that's why I did the video, because I was just like, I need to understand what the fuck is going on with my libido. And I just libido, sorry y'all, libido, I really need to know what's going on with it. And I thought it was just literally the stress, and it was just not like me though. It was just not like me to be just, sometimes stress actually helps me. You know what I mean? You know, in the big room. You know, so sometimes I'd be like, just let me release some stress. But like when I tell you, and again, being really personal here, you know, I feel like I got that wet, that juicy. You know what I'm saying? You know, I be feeling, you know, some type of way, you know, when I step into the picture. And it got to the point where I was so self-conscious, where I was like, oh my God, I really want to have sex. Like I would be like thinking about it up until the point where we're together and it's time to happen. And I literally, like, I'm mentally up here and ready, but she is like flatline. And I'm like, dude, I'm like 29 years old. Like, what the fuck? I'm too young for this. Like, this is not supposed to be happening until I'm like 50. What's going on? I was freaking out. So I did the video because I needed answers, and I did the research, and I'm looking up, and I talked about birth control being one of the options, but I just never linked the linkerization. I never did the linkerization, whatever the case is. So, yeah, that was really stressful for me. So I was going through a lot of stress last year. And then I started to try to launch my business, and that was a whole nother stressful thing in itself. And I've never done anything like that, and I funded it myself. So everything was just coming out of pocket, and I'm just like, you know, I'm not working. It was just very, very stressful for me. So, I didn't have a sex drive. Dude, like, I would want to have sex, and I could even, like, and this is so embarrassing to say, but it's not, because it's real life. Like, I literally would be able to masturbate, you know, I'll be able to use the toy or whatever, and then, like, you know, when it come to being with him, I was just like, because with the toy, you know, you could just, you know, you use lube anyways, like, you know, like, you use, you know, lube with toys because it's easier. So, like, I could maybe make that my excuse for maybe is why it was easier for me to use sex toys. But like, it was just like, dude, like, I want my man, and like, this wasn't working, and I would be so in my head that I'd be like, oh my God, I'll be so worried that, you know, maybe I wouldn't be wet enough and stuff like that. And I feel like that even prohibited me, and that even made everything worse, because I'm just so like nervous and like insecure and self-conscious and all these different things. And you know, he doesn't think anything of it. He's just like, you know, oh, let me spit on it for extra support, like, you know, like, because he just wants me. But I'm like scared that it was a hot mess, y'all. It was a hot mess. It was literally a cycle of nonsense. It was like, it started from, and this is literally so real. Please comment and be real and open with me, and let me know if you guys have ever experienced this before. But it will literally start with just the thought before you guys even get together, like, oh my God, I hope that I perform great tonight, right? Boom. So now you're getting to the point where, like, even though you should be excited that you're about to see your partner, you should be excited that you're about to get it on, you're so worried about making sure that you can pull it off that worries you to the point that now it's time for you to do it, and now you don't want to do it because now you feel like you can't pull it off because you've been so worried about it that now, like, y'all, my cycle, like, I was still trying to pull it off, and I would still be pulling it off, but like, it was just not as enjoyable for me. I was constantly insecure. I was constantly everything, and it was just a really stressful, high stressful moment in my life. And that was happening, and I was just like, what the fuck? So that was my horror story. Okay, I literally dealt with that for probably about 8 months. Like, it was a long time where I was just like, and I don't think even to this day that my boyfriend really knows the extent of what I was going through, because I was so fucking embarrassed. Like, I did at a certain point kind of open up to him and was just like, I broke down and cried after sex one time, because you know how sex is, you know, you get all those like emotional hormones after sex, and you know, all that stuff. So, you know, I definitely released some tears after one time, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm not performing the best, and he just assured me that I was doing great. And that's why communication is very important. I shouldn't hold back. But it's just in my nature. Like, I just didn't want to scare him with my antics and everything that I had going on. I was already stressed out all the time and like venting to him about my stresses. So the last thing I want to tell him is just like, my pussy won't get wet. That is not cute. So, you know, I just kind of kept that to myself. I was just, you know, going through the struggle, you know, and I was just trying to perform every time the best way I could. And it was just fucking hard. And I never thought that I would be the one to say that, okay, y'all. I literally am someone that really enjoys sex. Shit, I talk about sex. I've built a platform talking about sex. I love it. So for me to just get to the space where I just felt like, dude, no. Like, I am like scared to try to do this tonight. I am literally freaking out. Like, it was bad. It was bad. So this is like really the first time I've actually said that out loud. I really internally have dealt with that for the past couple of months. Within the past 2 months, I decided to stop taking birth control because, and this is actually was actually on accident. Like, my birth control, whatever I was using at the time, switched, and whatever I had started using that they gave me, it was just making me PMS really bad. And I've never really experienced a lot of PMSing. Like, I've definitely experienced cramps really bad and stuff like that, but PMS, no, I've never really been a PMSer. So I was hardcore PMSing. Ooh, hardcore. And it was bad. And I felt different. Like, and just my mood and just everything, my appetite, everything was just completely off. And by the way, this whole entire time I've been using pill birth control. I love, and I don't, it's not that I don't recommend the everyday pill birth control. That's probably the one that I would recommend. That's the only one I felt, you know, comfortable enough taking on a regular basis, or just taking in general, because I still felt very regular. You know, it just really eliminated cramps, and it made me have a bigger appetite. But, you know, at the end of the day, it worked. You know, I've never been pregnant, so, you know, I definitely wouldn't say that I don't recommend the pill. I'm just saying, the highest stressful time of my life, I'm starting to feel like it was the birth control that definitely had a huge impact on, like, maybe why my sex drive was just like completely out the fucking door. Like, I literally have never experienced that in my life. Like, last year was probably like, it was bad for me. It was bad. So, but I decided to stop taking birth control because the last birth control that I was taking was terrible. So I decided to stop taking it. And I literally instantly saw a difference in, like, my mood towards sex. Like, I was ready. I was on, like, I was like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, like, there was not a nervous bone in my body. There was not an anxious bone in my body. There was not a, like, I'm scared or nervous, I'm insecure. It was nothing. I was like, see me as I am and get me together, baby. Okay? Literally, like, so, you know, I instantly saw a difference within the first 2 weeks of me being off birth control. And I feel like I've kind of even gotten a little reaction from him, like, oh, okay, you know. And honestly, like, that is what I'm used to. That was what I was used to before. So, like, to go through that period for such a long time, it seemed like it was a really long time, you know, that was not cute. And I'm glad he didn't leave me. I ain't glad he didn't leave me. But, you know, I instantly saw a difference. And honestly, like, even though I would say my stress levels have decreased, they had decreased when I was still kind of taking the birth control. And, like, I was still kind of, maybe it wasn't as bad. I wasn't experiencing it as bad. But once I stopped taking the birth control altogether, that part of me, it's just way better. Like, honestly, my libido is way higher. I still am dealing with kind of a lot of stress because I'm trying to, you know, still coming into my womanhood and still trying to, you know, knock off some really bad habits, create a good routine and schedule for myself. So, you know, and I'm a hoarder, so I'm trying to get rid of some stuff before I move. So there's a lot of things that I got going on right now, so that, you know, that is kind of keeping my stress levels up there. I'm trying to do everything I can to keep them down and managed, but, you know, there's still some stressors there. But I will definitely say, even with those stressors, Lord, when I tell y'all, my freak radar is right back where, you know, almost where it used to be. Okay, and I am getting juicy for him. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no problems. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been having no problems. So I would definitely probably say it's the, you know, it was the stress plus the birth control that literally had me at my all-time, like, low. Well, I should say not high, definitely my all-time low. So, you know, obviously birth control is something that, you know, is more, and, you know, especially if you're not trying to have children, it is probably a little bit more important to, you know, use birth control versus worry about your libido, especially if you're okay, like everything is okay with you right now, you don't have like high stress levels and stuff like that. You know, I feel like, again, like before I was going through the whole quitting my job and stuff like that, I wasn't necessarily dealing with a lot of the same issues that I started dealing with after the fact. So I think that literally the birth control plus the stress of everything, it was just like, yeah, my whole sex life was shut down. So, yeah, something to consider, something to think of. Like, yeah, that shit was, I just had to share my story with you guys. It was just crazy. Like, I'm like, damn, you know, I'm still not trying to have children. And it's crazy because I probably stopped using birth control at, like, not the best time, because we plan on moving in with each other pretty soon here. So, you know, but I ain't trying to get back on that shit. Okay, I'm trying to live my best life. Okay, while I'm still young. Okay, while I'm stressing about getting older, yeah, I'm just gonna still pop like a drop it while I'm still in my fucking 20s. Okay, so, you know, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys comment below if you guys can relate or have a related story or anything you want to say. I would love to comment back to you guys. I definitely always respond, so please comment below. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Check out some of my other videos, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.